Good afternoon, everyone. I want to call to order today's meeting of the Senate Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Daly. Here. Senator Cannizzaro. Senator Krasner. Here. Senator Steinbeck. Here. Chair Orenshaw.
Present. Madam Secretary, please mark the Majority Leader present when she arrives or absent excused if she's unable to attend. We do have a quorum. A few general housekeeping reminders. I'd ask everyone to silence their electronic devices. If anyone wishes to testify, please sign in at the table by the door. Please provide a business card, if any, to the committee secretary. For those joining online, please be sure to mute your microphone when you're not speaking to minimize any background noise. When testifying, please turn on the microphone and clearly state your name, affiliation with any groups if you have an affiliation, for the record. Then turn the microphone off each time you're done speaking. If anyone wanted to provide handouts, we do ask for 20 paper copies for members of the public. Electronic copies should have been submitted in PDF form to our committee manager 24 hours in advance of today's meeting. Sometimes in the committee, we'll have issues that folks are very passionate about, and there may be disagreement, but we do ask everyone to be courteous and respectful to everyone else, regardless of your feeling on the issues or someone else's position. Committee members will be using their laptops to view handouts and other documents. Please don't view this as a sign of disrespect or inattention. It's the modern legislative process where folks are often looking at bills and amendments on their computer. As a reminder, we may take agenda items out of order. Public comment will be taken at the end of the meeting. Each person will be limited to 2 minutes. With that, I'd like to turn the gavel over to Vice Chair Daly. And bless you.
And then you're going to. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So with that, when you're ready, we will open the hearing on Senate Joint Resolution 7.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair Daly, members of the Senate Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections. My name is James Orenshaw. I represent State Senate District 21 down in Southern Nevada, and I want to thank the committee for hearing Senate Joint Resolution 7 today. With me, I have Nathaniel Allison. Nathaniel is a student at University of Nevada, Reno, and he is a political science intern with my office. And with your permission, Vice Chair Daly, I'd like to turn it over to Nathaniel to present SJR 7. And then we are also very lucky to have Dr. Dilger from the Nevada Office of Nuclear Projects, who can provide any information, a lot of information on the fight the state has on this issue. And I'm happy to stand for any questions after the presentation.
Thank you. Welcome and proceed.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Vice Chair Daly and members of the Senate Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections. For the record, my name is Nathaniel Allison. I am a native Nevadan and I am an undergraduate student at the University of Nevada, Reno. I'm majoring in political science and minoring in philosophy. I'm in my junior year at UNR and an intern at the legislature. In recent years, the power source known as nuclear energy has been getting a lot more interest across the country. This power type is actively being pursued by tech giants in order to power vast server complexes and generative AI systems. The ADVANCE Act, passed last year and signed into law directs by the U.S. Congress, directs federal agencies to reinvest in nuclear power. This resolution is not an endorsement or rejection of nuclear power itself. This resolution merely directs Congress and the federal government to acknowledge that in this new nuclear age, waste from these new constructions must not be deposited at Yucca Mountain. Nuclear waste disposal remains a concern to those across the country, despite other options existing, such as storage at or near nuclear reactor sites across the country. The threat to public health in the process of transporting the waste from sites across the country to Yucca Mountain is not only a concern to Nevadans, but to all Americans. If the Yucca Mountain site was approved for storage of high-level nuclear waste or radioactive waste, trains carrying radioactive waste would need to pass through hundreds of counties home to millions of people at risk of exposure. Second, trains or trucks are subject to accidents and derailments. The threat of nuclear waste train derailments is a tremendous threat to any community where it might occur. I'm reminded of the environmental disaster from early 2023 when we're discussing derailments resulting from the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. Ignoring the political debate at the time surrounding the accident, it is obvious that train derailments involving dangerous and hazardous materials, whether they be vinyl chloride or nuclear or radioactive materials, pose a threat to public health. The consequences of a train derailment involving high-level radioactive waste would be catastrophic. The issue of perception is also very important. Ignoring the real threat of radioactive materials, as stated previously, it is very possible that a high-level radioactive waste site at Yucca Mountain would hurt Nevada's fragile and crucial tourism industry. During the period of above-ground nuclear testing in the mid-20th century, many tourists and locals alike drove out to observe nuclear tests. This was before the dangers of radioactivity were widely known to the general public. In the intervening decades, public opinion has caught up with the science. Yucca Mountain itself is an unsuitable site to store nuclear waste. It is above the water table, potentially causing radioactive materials to seep into the groundwater and affect nearby communities. One second. It is crucial that we, as the state of Nevada, must make our voices heard to remind the federal government that based on years of scientific research, Yucca Mountain is not suitable to become our country's site for the storage of high-level radioactive waste.
Thank you, and Vice Chair Daley. James Orenshaw, Senate 21. With your permission, if I could turn it over to Dr. Dilger from the Office of Nuclear Projects, and then I'm happy to stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Fred Dilger. I'm Executive Director of Nevada Agency for Nuclear Projects, and I'm here to echo the sentiments of Mr. Adelson and Senator Orenshaw. We support the resolution. We're at a turning point in this policy in the United States. We already have more spent nuclear fuel than can fit in Yucca Mountain. The statutory limit was 77,000 metric tons. We currently have about 98,000 metric tons, so we should really be looking for a new nuclear repository. The site itself is unsuitable, as has been said. We have been documenting that for nearly 40 years at the state of Nevada, and it's time for a consent-based approach with a volunteer site and a collaborative siting process. We believe that we're very close to new legislation that will help facilitate that. And I think Congress, the new interest in nuclear will spark that, the need to finally get off the dime and make some changes like this. Congress has passed 7 laws in the last 8 years to facilitate the development of advanced nuclear reactors, and nothing has been done about the waste component. It's not even clear that the waste will perform well in the kind of repository designs we have now, because the new generation of reactors will produce different kinds of waste, and we don't know how those will perform. We know they won't perform in Yucca Mountain. So the United States we have to get off the dime, and we have to make changes, and Yucca Mountain is not the answer.
Vice Chair Daley, James Orchall, Senate 21. You know, I definitely want to thank Dr. Dilger, the Nevada Office of Nuclear Projects. I think we owe so much to Senator Bryan, the Commission on Nuclear Projects, all the work that so many people have done to fight this. Because when I was a kid and I first heard of the Screw Nevada bill, as they called it, which, you know, went from looking at a number of sites to just looking at Yucca Mountain, you know, I thought, wow, how's little Nevada? You know, how are we going to fight this? The rest of the country wants this. But thanks to Dr. Dilger and his predecessors, we have fought it, and we've fought successfully and shown our partners in Washington that it's not just that we don't want it, but that there are scientific reasons that this is not the site for the country's nuclear waste repository.
Questions? Questions? No questions? I would just make a statement. I know I've served on the interim committee for the Yucca Mountain and nuclear, I forget the name of the committee anyway, to try to make sure that the depository didn't come to Nevada. I know we've had ups and downs when the funding was stopped. I was reading the resolution as well. Senator Reed, you know, basically put the nail in the coffin, but it just never seems to stay dead. It's a zombie project. So we have to remain vigilant. Resolutions are not totally ineffective, but if we didn't think it was worthwhile, we need to keep communicating with them. So I don't really have a question. Do support Yucca Mountain not being in Nevada. We have the test site and they're doing some other stuff out there, but high-level nuclear waste storage is not the thing we should be doing. Just a comment. So.
Vice Chair Daley, thank you for your comments. James Orchall, State Senate District 21. Certainly, I think the resolutions are important to let our congressional delegation, the other members of Congress, the White House know that, you know, Nevada, things haven't changed in our view of the science of that site and the dangers, not only in Nevadans, but the rest of the country. So I hope the committee will consider the resolution and consider moving forward with it. And this is a first presentation for intern Mr. Allison. We were practicing questions, so you're letting him off very easily if you're not going to ask any questions, but thank you, committee.
He did just fine. So with that, we'll ask you guys to step back and we'll start the process. So at this time, we would ask anyone who wants to give testimony in support of Senate Joint Resolution number 7 to please come forward. I don't see anybody in Las Vegas, but if there is anybody in Las Vegas, come on up, and after we get down here in the north, we'll head down there. Proceed at your pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Kelly Crompton, representing the City of Las Vegas. The City of Las Vegas is in support of SJR 7, and we thank Senator Orenshaw for bringing this forward to continue the fight against Yucca Mountain. For the record, the City of Las Vegas has passed similar resolutions through the U.S. Conference of Mayors, asking that the Conference of Mayors also support a consent-based approach and to warn the nation about the dangers of transit for this type of material through our major cities. We remind the U.S. Conference of Mayors the pathways that have been given in the past as bills have come forward in Congress. They're on our major highways. They're on our major railroads. For the City of Las Vegas, those railroads and those highways are directly behind our City Hall. And so those are instances that, you know, we prepare for in the event that something does derail or that there's a major accident on the I-15, but constantly reminding our members of Congress and our peer mayors that this is serious stuff and that this should be a consent-based process that we take a look at for the nation. Again, we thank the sponsor and can provide those resolutions for the record if necessary. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Christy Cabrera-Georgeson. I'm the Deputy Director of the Nevada Conservation League. The Nevada Conservation League has always held firmly that Nevada should not be used as a dumping ground for the nation's nuclear waste, which would jeopardize the health of our water, air, land, wildlife, and threaten the safety of Nevadans and residents and visitors. There are numerous concerns with reopening Yucca, including the potentially devastating effects of an accident or spill and the unacceptable risk that nuclear waste could seep into the aquifer, contaminating our groundwater. As the driest state in the union, we know that our water resources are precious. For decades, Nevadans from all walks of life have stood united in opposing the serious and unacceptable risks of Yucca Mountain, and we urge the committee to support this resolution. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Vice Chair and members of the committee. My name is Olivia Tanacher on behalf of the Sierra Club Toyabe chapter. For the record, we strongly support this resolution and appreciate Senator Orenshaw bringing it forward. The Sierra Club Toyabe chapter, being the largest grassroots environmental organization in Nevada, played a key role in stopping the Yucca Mountain project proposal initially. And every time hints of it rearing its head every so often, we also fight back on that. This resolution is especially critical now, as the bill presenter said, due to the energy load growth we are experiencing. People are naturally looking at nuclear energy, but there are some places that are particularly bad for waste, Yucca Mountain being one. The Sierra Club leads innumerable outings every year out in the desert, and all of our 40,000 members and supporters who have been on a hike will tell you that the desert is not a wasteland and it is not a good place to store nuclear waste. So with that, we strongly support the resolution. We appreciate the bill sponsor bringing it forward, and we urge your support as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further testimony in Carson City or Las Vegas in support. Broadcast, do we have anybody on the phones wishing to testify in support of Senate Joint Resolution number 7?
The public line is open and working. There are no callers at this time.
Thank you. Do we have any testimony in opposition? I see someone coming up in Las Vegas. So I see no one in Carson, so we'll go ahead and start with Clark County, so please proceed.
Yes, my name is Ed Euling, Uehling, and I'm mainly concerned about the hysteria that is behind all of this. The facts are that our whole society in the world and in the United States is going to become more dependent on electricity. We have to make choices. And the choice being made by these people is that 23 million acres of land are going to be torn up so we can put solar panels on this land. Instead of using the Yucca Flats area. By the way, when I was a teenager, I would go with my family out to Railroad Pass and watch the explosion of the atomic bombs. And we saw at least 5 of those. And now this is a totally different situation, much safer, and we have to make a choice. China is making a choice. They are choosing to create more electricity because they know that the future is about electricity. That's how cars are going to be run. Everyone knows we need 2 or 3 times as much electricity we will need in the next decade as we have now. And in China, because they use electrical vehicles, no more pollution in the cities. It's totally changing the society and enabling them to go ahead. And we need the same thing here. And resolutions like this that are based on hysteria do us no favors. We have an excellent opportunity to convert swords into plowshares by putting nuclear plants on the very land where these nuclear explosions took place.
We're at our 2 minutes, if you can wrap up real quick.
And then trading that for giving that electricity to California to desalt the Salton Sea and trade water that then we can fill Lake Mead and create more electricity with Lake Mead. The dam is only producing half the electricity that it's enabled.
If you can wrap up, sir, thank you.
Okay, so there are so many opportunities here. I think we should take advantage of them.
Thank you. Do we have any other people? It looks like we do not in Clark County or Reno. Broadcast, anybody on the phone?
The public line is open and working. There are no callers at this time.
Okay, so with that, we'll go to neutral, either here or in Las Vegas. Seeing nobody coming up. Anybody on the phones again?
Once again, sir, there are no callers at this time.
Thank you. Senator, if you want to come up and give any closing remarks or.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dilly. With your indulgence, I'd like to make some brief closing remarks, then turn it over to Dr. Dilger and then to Nathaniel Allison. SJR 7 highlights in the resolution the unstable geology of the proposed nuclear waste repository at Yucca Mountain. It's located in an active seismic earthquake zone. There is the potential of groundwater contamination if there's leakage of this radioactive material in the immediate and in the distant future. The resolution highlights the transportation risks and the national security dangers posed from moving high-level radioactive waste around the country from existing storage sites to get to the Yucca Mountain site. The resolution highlights the limited capacity of Yucca Mountain to store the existing nuclear waste in our country and the potential devastating economic impact to Nevada's tourism industry that might occur if this were placed here in southern Nevada. With your permission, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Dilger and then to Nathaniel Allison. Thank you, Vice Chair.
For the record, Fred Dilger, Nevada Agency for Nuclear Projects. Let me just highlight something that my agency and the governor's office has been very, very careful to avoid criticism of nuclear energy as an energy source for the country. We have no documents, no social media, nothing like that criticizing nuclear energy per se. What we criticize is this very bad program of storing this waste above the water table in an area that is completely unsuitable. The plan itself, the Yucca Mountain site is so poor, the rock is porous. And so when it does get wet, those infrequent times when it gets wet, not all the water evaporates. And so the water that does continue to goes through the rock in the mountain, picks up chemicals and becomes essentially acid by the time it gets to the repository horizon where the waste would be. And this would corrode the waste packages very, very rapidly. The Department of Energy saw this as a problem, and to get around the problem, decided that it would be necessary to install titanium drip shields over every one of the 11,500 waste packages. And those would have to be installed by robots that we don't have. Almost as much titanium, aircraft-grade titanium, an entire year's production of titanium would have to go into Yucca Mountain, and it would still fail. So the plan itself is not optimal. And our opposition to the plan is based on science and technology, and it is confined to the Yucca Mountain site itself, not nuclear energy. Thank you very much.
Nathaniel Allison, for the record. Vice Chair Daley and members of the Senate Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections. This concludes our presentation. Thank you for your time and consideration of this important legislation. Nevada must make it clear to the federal government that the proposed site at Yucca Mountain is not suitable to become the nation's high-level radioactive waste site. Once again, we need to present a united front to stop this from happening. Senator Orenshaw and I are ready to stand for anything else, but this is also the closing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. And no questions?
I'll ask them. Thank you, Vice Chair. I'll ask him a question just because you wanted a little bit of practice for him as well. So, of course, this debate's been going on since I was younger than you, and certainly been hearing it back and forth. I'm wondering that if not Yucca Mountain, then do you have a suggestion of a better place for the national stockpile?
James Orenshaw, Senate 21. I think the testimony we heard today about a consent-based approach I think would work well. I think that whatever state and community would agree that this is a safe place for a potential site might be a solution. Certainly, I think Yucca Mountain is a very flawed choice. I think that the science through the years has shown that. I think when you and I were teenagers, Senator Steinbeck, we were all shocked when we heard the proposal. I was shocked when the Congress narrowed the bill down to studying, I think it was 5 proposed sites to just studying Yucca Mountain. I think it was Senator Bennett Johnson of Louisiana, who was the U.S. Senator who authored that bill that narrowed the study down. And I thought that was unfair to go from let's study 5 different sites for their potential safety and efficacy to no, let's just study one. I think that in itself was flawed. But as to what the solution is, I think we need to look at other solutions as technology grows and we get to places where we're going to have a solution that won't be flawed. So I think we've heard today about a consent-based approach. Certainly on-site storage isn't going to solve things forever. It's currently what we're doing. But I truly believe that our opposition has been effective, and it's been effective because Nevada's opposition has not just been a not in my backyard. It's been that the site's not suitable. And that's from the science as to the site. From we look at the issues with the water table, the kind of rock, the seismic activity, the danger of transporting this around the country, and what would happen if there was an accident. And much as I know when we were kids, we saw those videos that showed the canisters being impenetrable, unbreakable, and nothing could ever, open them. I think we've all seen that they're very unlikely that there is something that impenetrable and unbreakable, that we wouldn't have to worry if a train derailed or a semi-truck had an accident and something happened.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no more questions, we will close the hearing on Senate Joint Resolution 7.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
And the gavel back over to the chair when he gets to the dais.
Thank you very much. Last item on our agenda today is public comment. Public comment is really anything anyone wants to talk about that's not related to the hearing on SJR 7, but anything else. So up here in Carson City, I don't see anyone. Down in Las Vegas, anyone wishing to make public comment, please come forward. Not seeing anyone come forward either in Carson City or in Las Vegas. So broadcasting, if you'd please go to the phone lines for public comment.
The public line is open and working. There are no callers at this time.
Thank you, broadcasting, and thank you to everyone who's here today. With that, we are adjourned.